Hi there, I'm Freddie and this is Monica, and we love these crochet flowers, don't we, Monica?
I think they're fab, and once you've mastered how to do that, you can turn it into a granny square, which can become a fro. But we've had quite a few queries how they should be made.
So we're going to show you how to make them in this video.
So as you can see, the petals are worked into an initial chain ring to form the circular shape, and each petal is just made up of a few treble stitches before you then do a few chains to join you on to the next petal. And you keep doing this until you've got all of your 8 petals there. And then the reason that you do these chain loops in between is just so that you've got somewhere to crochet into if you want to make the shape bigger and turn it into something like a square. So with the square, you can see that it's just a few trebles into the chain loops to create a different shape. So begin by making the chain ring for the middle of the flower. Start with a slip knot. Make your chains. And join the last chain to the first chain with a slip stitch to form the ring. And then to begin the first round, make 3 more chains, which will count as the first treble. So now we start our first petal, and counting those 3 chains that we've just made as 1 treble, we're now going to do 3 more trebles. So do the first one. And then I found it really tricky to work out where to finish. So what you need to know later is which is the third of the 3 chains you made at the beginning of the round. So if you find your third one, 1, 2, 3, there it is. It might be a good time to place a marker on exactly where that stitch is. So you don't have to use a little gadget like what I've got here. You might just want to use a waste piece of yarn in a contrast colour, but that just tells you exactly where you finish off later. So you've done the first of the 3 trebles into the ring. Do 2 more to complete your 3. That's 1. And 2. And now you need to turn the whole thing over so that you can work across the top of the trebles that you've just made along here. And before you do that, you're going to make 3 chains. 1, 2, and 3. Before working one of the trebles into the stitch at the base of those 3 chains. So that's just this one here. Then work 1 treble into each of the next 2 trebles. Here they are. That's the first one, and now the second. Before working 1 treble into the top of the 3 chains, which you did at the beginning. So you know exactly where they are because you've marked the third of the 3 chains. So take your hook down there into the same space where the mark is sitting and work your final treble there. So that's 1 whole petal made here. You're then going to turn the whole thing over again, and then to make the next petal, what you first need to do is make 3 more chains. 1, 2, 3. And what you're going to do with these, you're going to allow them to drift at the back of the petal that you've just made. So if I hold the petal here, we're just going this way with the chains sat at the back there, look. So that you can then work 4 more trebles into the chain ring to start the second petal. So let's start there. 1. Then you turn the whole lot over to work across the top of those trebles that you've literally just made. There they are there. But before you do that, you do 3 chains, 2, 3, and then the first treble goes into the stitch at the base of the 3 chains, just like before, like this. And then you work 1 treble into each of the next 3 trebles. So here they are, 1, 2, and 3. Starting with the first one. And finishing on the 3rd. Like so. And what you should now be able to see is a second petal all finished. So then to begin the 3rd one, you turn the whole lot over again. Do your 3 chains, 2 and 3. And then you're going to allow these to sit at the back of the petal that you've just made while you work back into the chain ring to do the next petal, starting like this. So what will soon start to happen as you work all of these petals into the ring, you'll soon start to run out of space for your ring to actually take more treble space. So one thing that I do, I just slide these stitches around like this, shuffling them all up just to make a bit more room so that you can then work another petal. So you're going to keep going like this until you've got 8 petals, and then you'll be ready to finish off your flower. So you join me just finishing off the last 2 trebles of the 8th petal. So I'm just going to do a treble here. And this is the reverse side of the flower that you're seeing. So you should now see the chain loops all together around the flower. So that's the 8th petal there. And as before, you turn the whole thing over. And to finish it off, you're going to work the 3 chains that we've been doing in between each petal to start the next ones. Allow these to drift at the back of the 8th petal as you did with all the others. But to finish it off, you're going to take your hook into the stitch where the mark is sitting to work a slip stitch, which will just finish the whole thing off. Like so. So to fasten it off, just cut your yarn. And then bring it through the loop that's on your hook, pull it all the way through. And then there's no need for that marker, so you can take that off now. We're done with that. And that's your finished flower.